Hello there everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now in this video, guys and girls, I want to talk to you about something we haven't talked about for a while, and that is going to be Solana, and whether Solana is still a good investment and whether you should still look at it or not. And here's going to be in this video my analysis of the current situation with Solana and everything that's going on when it comes to technicals as well as fundamentals, some news about Solana and the lawsuit with SEC, etc. So this is something that you really have to keep in mind if you're a Solana investor or if you want to trade Solana. There are really cool trading setups as well. And before we're going to get into it, we'll quickly take a look at Bitcoin. I've taken a trade on it. I'll show you exactly my reasoning behind it and also some important fundamentals, and then we'll move on to Solana. And as always, guys and girls, if you're brand new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so that you're always notified when I make a new upload, because remember, you have to watch these from the beginning and until the end. All right, without any further ado, let's just get right into it. We'll skip the intro this time. No energy, but it's a Sunday, beautiful, not very sunny Sunday here in Riga, and we'll be looking forward to your comments down below, whether you guys agree with me or disagree with me. I'm always keen on knowing what you guys think, and always will be appreciated if you could share this video over on your social media. There is a share button below the video which you can use and share it so that we grow as a community and build this channel together and spread this word, spread this information so people stay educated. But only if you feel like doing it, would be very much appreciated. Okay, so quickly, we remember about Bitcoin. We saw this breakout, the volume was nah, and everything in macro environment also looks like nah. So there are bigger probabilities that we might see more potential downside. And same thing is, we are seeing in CME Bitcoin options that are still like two put options for every one call. So basically, people are more short biased. Of course, a lot of these people, the smart money, they are actually holding Bitcoin. They're just simply hedging their long-term position in Bitcoin using options. And we're seeing that there is a lot of, at the strike price of $15,000 per Bitcoin, we're seeing a lot of options right there. So a lot more shorts basically in the options market than longs. Well, it's kind of expected in this current macro environment, so that's why I'm saying that there are bigger probabilities that the price is going to move a bit lower than suddenly rally to 40k, for example. So and the next thing is here also that another market crash upcoming during mid of July. Bitcoin may slash below $15,000, and so this is something that we've been expecting ourselves as well. If we're going to go to the weekly chart, we're going to definitely see our price targets, and my hugest buy-in areas are going to be in between, go back like this, in between 14,000 and 20,000, and then going all in basically between 10,000 and 14,000. So best buy-in areas in my personal opinion. Now what is this? Yeah, this is about Solana. So let's quickly finish up with Bitcoin. Let's take a look at a short-term perspective here, and we've seen this breakout, then we saw this consolidation with a nice looking wedge, and then finally the wedge broke. Let's take a look at the volume right here, and we're gonna see that there was some kind of there wasn't really that very much volume. So that's for that reason I didn't really enter that early. I wanted to see how the price is gonna react to it and whether it's gonna stabilize below. And we are currently seeing also some kind of a wedge right here in Bitcoin that has developed, and basically there is also let me turn up the volume right here. So basically it also just broke down, and it's coming to potentially retest this support that we had in this wedge in this vicinity at about 21,300, or even potentially, and this is the best place to try and enter into the short trade if you haven't taken the short trade already, in around potentially a retest of 21,500. I'm not saying that the price is going to get here in a if we are short biased currently, but nonetheless this could be an interesting area for me to add into it, because I'm having my short trade here over on BitGet currently at basically at the zero with an entry price at about 21,300. And again, I entered with a small amount right now simply because it's kind of in the middle of this breakdown. So number one, if it rallies back upwards, so I'm not going to lose much, and it's going to give me the opportunity to add into it to get a better average price for the short trade if it reaches for a retest of this wedge right here in the hourly chart basically, and retests 21,500. So this is basically what I'm looking out for. I'm again more short bias than long bias. I could be wrong. This is not financial advice, so do as you see fit. And I've put this trade in over on BitGet. And also over on BitGet, I'm trying out this strategic trading, which is the futures grid trading, whereas basically it's a bot that you can, which uses a certain grid based on what has happened in a recent time, so that it actually calculates and takes all these scalp trades up and down. And so far, I tested it for about 2 days, so 1 day and 22 hours. And I tested it with $500 and it made me 21 bucks. So it's basically in 2 days, I made 2% from my initial investment. So that's pretty good. And it is a lot less volatile than, for example, with copy trading that you, by the way, can go do here as well. No, here, this one, copy trade. And if you want to be trading yourself or trying out the strategic trading, futures grid trading or copy trading, and BitGet is the biggest copy trading platform out there. So if you want to try these things out for yourself or trade yourself over on BitGet, then you can use my link down below in the description or in the pinned comment and claim up to $8,000 in initial deposit bonuses simply for using my link. Check it out, all the rules and how to claim it. It's all there, so you can read it and take a look at it. So okay, let's move back to Bitcoin. And this is just, I mean, for me, it's just a perfect short trade of going lower, just because currently I'm not really honestly seeing any big reasons besides maybe some technicals to actually be long Bitcoin. I could be wrong. This is my personal take on it. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. So now let's move on quickly to Solana. And I'm thinking that this is going to be the most interesting part of the video for you guys and girls. And let me know down in the comments which coin should I analyze next. And let me find Solana right here. And we're going to see that in terms of the technicals. Let's first talk about the technicals. We are forming a very beautiful wedge, I would say. But, it's very bearish in my personal opinion. And let me just readjust it a little bit so you don't scream at me in the comments. Always people like to scream at me in the comments for, the placement of the levels sometimes when I do it quickly. So look at it. It looks quite beautiful. So it's either a break above or break below. And again, in the current macro situation, and especially with the Bitcoin dominance that we're currently seeing, it's very, neutral right now. So if it's going to actually, if Bitcoin dominance keeps rallying, then altcoins obviously are going to be suffering tremendously. So I'm thinking that in this current situation, just like I am with Bitcoin, I'm still bearish. So I would be looking out for potentially a trade down on Solana. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. We're going to see that if we break this support right here, and even in this point, I would say actually I will consider taking this myself. It could be an interesting short trade from here with an invalidation point, or like your stop loss at about $40 right here, and then your entry could be around 37 with your take profit at around $26. As crazy as it might seem, but let me explain why that is, and there is a lot of reasons why. Number one, the macro environment, and actually altcoins are always dropping much more than, for example, Bitcoin. That's just the way it is. So if we're going to take a look at the overall drop in Solana currently to date from its all-time high, it's going to be roughly 90%. So this is pretty crazy, guys and girls. So, and let's quickly take a look. So, let's go back to a smaller time frame. Let me take a look at the VPVR. The VPVR is actually something I wanted to mention right here, which for me is actually the worst case scenario for Solana, and that is going to be this right here. I'm thinking that the worst case scenario is going to be the support at about $20. So I don't really honestly believe that Solana might go lower than $20. But again, we'll take a look at some macro factors and fundamental factors. But this would put Solana at a discount of about 92%. So this is certainly the price level at which I'm going to be adding more to my Solana holding. But again, the biggest support that is going to come in terms of VPVR is going to be about $3. But if Solana was once 260 and is going to go down to $3, that's not going to be very cool. Oh, did you hear the sound? That's BitGet's copy trading opening the trade automatically for me. So 98%, I don't really believe in something like this, but nonetheless, let's quickly take a look at this article right here, which is going to be, a really huge dark cloud over Solana right now. That is the new lawsuit alleging that Solana is a security, could have big implications for the crypto investment landscape. So basically, there is again another lawsuit going on, just similar to XRP. And right now we have always been waiting for a positive resolution in the actual lawsuit of XRP versus SEC, and currently at this point it seems like there is a good chance, and by good chance I mean like 90 to 95%, that XRP is actually gonna win. So if they're gonna win, then it's gonna actually slow down the whole process for this lawsuit as well. But if XRP is gonna lose, then then Solana probably is gonna lose as well, because this is just the type of the token itself. All of them are gonna get classified as securities, and certainly in a short-term perspective, this, and I have to mention this, well, let me put it to auto. I have to mention that if they're going to be classified as securities, it's not going to kill, all the biggest cryptocurrencies completely. But the problem is that there's going to be a short-term huge pain before a long-term huge gain, in my personal opinion. Just like with junk bonds that we've seen back in the 80s. Everybody thought that when the regulator came and started regulating junk bonds, everybody thought it was the end of it. But actually, after the regulation, junk bonds went 100x. So the same thing we'll see here. Some of the projects will certainly die, but big projects that actually have money to sustain certain periods of time and actually go through the process of regulation, etc., are gonna actually explode. So but yes, certainly if XRP is gonna lose, and if Solana consequently will lose the case as well, then this is going to be against SEC, then certainly that's gonna push the price definitely below $20 in my personal humble opinion. But if we're not gonna see this kind of a drastic black swan event, then we will, my worst case scenario remains $20 for Solana. So let's take a look at this here as well, that some articles are claiming that Solana might overtake major cryptocurrencies and end up becoming the new crypto king. And as they're saying here, even though it's one of the largest cryptocurrencies in the market, the crypto faced several outages in the past couple of months. And so the thing is that number one, there have been several very painful outages for Solana. And I know, actually, I personally know some Solana developers that I've met in Monaco, and these guys, have told me some interesting stories about how they're working on things. And for me personally, I do think, after speaking with them, that they are actually going to find the resolutions, and they're always constantly improving the whole network. So I'm not really concerned very much about the outages that they're having in comparison to the SEC lawsuit. This is a completely different story and is going to have, a lot of implications. So a lot of articles, are claiming that Solana can reclaim the throne, as the biggest cryptocurrency. But this is something that I would also not be very hopeful about, because a lot of the people that I know in the metaverse or in NFTs, even though, there's so much marketing going around that Solana is better for NFTs and metaverse, from my personal experience, actually speaking with people who are in metaverse and NFTs and creation in the project, they are using Ethereum because they actually like Ethereum more than Solana. So it doesn't mean that Solana doesn't have any value. It provides a lot of value where, for example, Ethereum doesn't provide value. So it still is a good addition to your portfolio, but I just wouldn't be, hoping that it's going to be going to $10,000 in the next 3 months. That's for sure. Now, the next thing that is worth mentioning on a good note when it comes to Solana, and that is the number of new addresses on the Solana network monthly. So despite this insane drawdown that we are seeing in the price right now, as we've already seen, like 90%, we are actually seeing an incredible increase in new addresses. Only in June, it has reduced a little bit from the peak in May, which was at about 12 million new addresses registering. So this is just same like with Cardano. We're seeing the price going down, but the network itself is developing, it's expanding, and it's actually exploding. So that actually, in this sense, could mean that the asset itself is undervalued if we don't take into consideration other macro factors. So this is something that is worth paying attention to, and certainly seeing what the figure is going to be in July and whether we're going to start seeing a downtrend. But so far, it's actually looking very positive for the network itself. So when it comes to the short-term perspective, certainly I will be looking out for this wedge right here. And if you want to take a short trade, super low-risk short trade on Solana, that's also not a bad idea, just because even though the network is expanding, etc., we are still in a shit zone right now in terms of macro environment, etc. But I certainly am not going to be selling any Solana from my long-term holding. I'm still holding in there, just like I'm holding pretty much all top altcoins that actually have utility and that actually have teams and actually have some backing in terms of what the hell they're doing. So I'm gonna link a tutorial to BitGet right here, so you can check it out, how to use the copy trading and how to use BitGet, etc. And certainly I'm gonna keep you updated if I'm gonna be adding into this trade right here, and I potentially will add into it, as long as we're gonna, on Bitcoin I mean, as long as we're gonna stay below this previously support line right here, with the hopes that we're gonna see a potential move lower. But again, anything can happen over the weekend, so this is just us as traders. We can only react to what the market is telling us. So as always, peace and love, stay smart, stay rich, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.